Welcome to the Boomer Briefing Podcast, where we help you solve a critical business issue in 20 minutes or less. Hi, my name is Sandra Wiley, and I'm the president of Boomer Consulting. And today, I'm going to be talking about 5 priorities that HR leaders should be thinking about and working on right now. You know, it is your time to be a true trend influencer, not just an observer in your firm. You and other leaders in your firm are evolving to become more inclusive, more empathetic, more adaptable. The top-down command and control leadership style of old is just no longer acceptable. And as HR and people managers, we will be instrumental in identifying and nurturing leaders who can navigate the complexities of a rapidly changing world. The emphasis will be on leaders who can inspire, motivate, empower their teams, and foster a culture of innovation and collaboration. It is a big ask, and I know you are up to the challenge. Today, I'll be sharing the top 5 priorities for HR influencers, and yep, I'm talking about you. Let's go with priority number 1. It's time to redefine workplace culture. You'll be hearing me talk about change, lots of change, different and new in each and every priority that we are talking about today. But all of them will tie back to the new culture that you should design, not just let it happen. I think over the last few years, we have just been letting things happen. Today, it is a day where we want you to design the new culture that you want. Our adaptation to remote work and restructuring our teams and embracing new progressive technologies are all a part of the new culture we're designing. As we lead our firms, we know that a part of the culture shift is happening due to automation and outsourcing, which will handle routine tasks and some of the complexities that we have today. But it is our responsibility to make sure we put a greater emphasis on personal interactions where human touch is irreplaceable. These high-touch interactions will include well-being, leadership, and experience management. Insourcing, or that touch that we have with people, the actual interaction that we have people to people, that strategizing around the personal touch in those functions will ensure that our employees receive the care and attention they deserve, strengthening the employer-employee relationship. The new culture we're building is not less human. It is actually more human in the right places. That's what you need to be thinking about as you build your culture. All of these things that we're talking about lead us to our next priority, which is the employee experience. Priority number 2, employee experience and firm success. Think personalization, catering to unique needs and preferences of each employee, and then tailoring the training to the individual career paths that they need, along with using data and AI to create a more engaging and customized experience for every single worker, leads you to more retention. And that's what we're all hoping for, right? The power of the employee voice in experience transformation is so important. Again, we're not top down anymore. This is a more collaborative, more inclusive, where we listen to everyone's voice, including those of all of our employees. We are no longer that one-way communication channel from management down to everyone else. We don't even look at it as being down anymore. We look at this as being one big group of people. The voice of the employee will hold more weight in shaping company policies and practices than we've ever seen in the past. We will actively seek iterative feedback and input from employees using their insights to improve workplace experience and lead to greater job satisfaction and retention. And while some may not hear this and think, it's all about them again, this is, it's nothing about management, we don't lead anymore, I would say that is not what it's about at all. Now is the time that we need to listen openly and with open arms with our employees, but we also need to educate and share how businesses function, how they thrive, how they survive, and actively seek others' help in building the firm of the future that is strong, inclusive, and legacy driven. That's where that collaboration comes into play. As you might imagine, this creates a scenario where education, learning, and knowledge building is imperative, and that leads to our third priority. So priority number 3, upskilling, reskilling, and the power of learning and development. Leader and manager development are at the top of the list, as well as building skills rather than just filling roles. We're not going to be taking roles that we've had in the past and just plug and play them again. We are going to be looking for new kinds of leaders, new kinds of management, new kinds of skills that need to be developed. People will pursue a portfolio of their career, accumulating a diverse range of skills and experiences. So what we used to think was a up and out kind of situation, or even an up and into very specific roles, we may now find that we will be upskilling and reskilling people, and we will find out that there is another kind of something else that they have in their playbook that we can use in our firm differently. So open your mind to looking for the best and the brightest skills that people have, and then using those potentially in different ways than we ever have before. It'll play a central role in facilitating this shift and supporting continuous learning, everyday learning, and helping employees adapt to an ever-changing world of accounting. Nothing is staying the same, and we can't expect our employees to stay the same. This should be a built-in part of a team member's day, not a special class or necessarily a conference they might attend. Now, that may be a part of their playbook, but that isn't the only thing. We want to encourage them to identify something they want to learn and just learn it for the sake of learning it, and then apply it within the firm. Learning and development will create situations where new positions will emerge, and the door will be open for new talent to become a part of the solution for our bright future. Don't miss the beauty in looking for the same old, same old. So I would encourage you to look for new and better opportunities for you and your firm. And that leads to our next priority, which is number 4, normalizing new talent potential through recruiting. If we are still out there looking for the very same roles and responsibilities that we had 5 years ago, we are missing the boat. There are a lot of new skills, roles, and responsibilities that we need in our firms in order to really be successful. So let's think about some new jobs that are out there. New jobs that we see being brought into the fold every day. Project managers, people who will actually look at a client and see what the project is and be the intermediary between all of the different places in the firm that need to talk to that client. That project manager is central to it. Project managers can take a project you are working on and make sure that it happens from start to finish in the way that it should, taking care of both employees and taking care of the client. Data analyst, we've heard this a lot lately, is finding people either right out of college or people who have experience becoming data analyst for our firm, finding how to take all of that data that we have sitting in front of us and using it in a very specific way. Consultants, finding people who really know how to explore with a client what they need, finding ways to build new service lines within the firm and new services within the firm, and then applying those to not just to that one small segment, but to all of our clients. And niche leaders. I don't want to ignore the fact that we have some new niches that are bubbling up in our firms, even niches that have been there for a long time. But there are actually people outside of the accounting industry that might know those niches even better than we do. And they can help us build new service lines and new products that we can then resell to our clients. There's a lot of new that's happening in our firm today that open the door for talent that we've never seen before. We also know that there's new skills that are needed. Managing differently than we've ever managed before, helping to look at all the generations and communicate in a very different way. Looking at the financials and the data that we have and looking at that in a different way. Lots of new skills that we need. And I would be remiss if I did not talk about worldwide recruiting. Whether you call it outsourcing or whether you call it something else, the reality is our world is an open world right now. We know that there is great talent in accounting and other data analysts, project managers all over the world. And we are limiting ourselves if we do not look at that worldwide recruiting that is right in front of us. We know that we can work remotely now. We know that we can work hybrid now. We also must at least let ourselves believe that we can do worldwide recruiting. And in doing that, guess what happens? The DEI initiatives that we have become much easier for us to accomplish. So now we have our eyes open. Let's open our ears. Let's open our hearts. Let's open our minds to the fact that there is a shrinking world that we live in and that we're a part of it and that we can use that to help ourselves build a legacy firm. So that leads us to our last priority, and it's last but certainly not least, adopting and optimizing HR technology, generative AI, data-driven insights, using data to predict the workforce trends that we're going to need going forward. Those are all things that are not necessarily completely at our fingertips today, but they are being worked on by everyone that we know of. And think about all of the different technologies that you use today in HR and talent management. And all of those solutions are looking for ways to use AI to help us to build a stronger workforce going forward. We want to identify skill gaps and optimize talent acquisition for the 5 generations that are in the workforce today. There is a lot of work to be done there, but AI can help us with that. It'll enable companies to allocate resources more effectively and enhance the personalization of that employee experience. Automation will continue to transform HR by taking over repetitive and time-consuming tasks, such as payroll processing or benefits administration. But I want you to be thoughtful and I want you to be strategic. And here's what I want you to do. Take a look, and this is always overwhelming, but go out, take a look at all of the things that you have to do right now, all of your responsibilities. Make time to step back and with your team, ask yourselves the question, what can we automate? What's here that we could potentially automate, either automate today or we want to automate it going forward? What could we give away? In other words, how can we spread the wealth of some of the things that are here, and who should be doing those things, and how can we train them to get there? And then the last thing, give yourself some time to think about everything that's left strategically, and how will that help our firm grow and be the best it can be? So, are you up for the challenge? I hope so, because those 5 priorities in HR and talent development will create an amazing path for you and your firm to follow. And it's a lot to think about, but you are not alone. There are lots of people out there helping to figure out the very same thing. Thanks so much for joining us today. Listeners, if you enjoyed our topic, look out for new episodes every Tuesday morning. We like to rotate the topics and the themes, but the common theme among all the episodes is that we believe they are critical to your firm growth and success. So please subscribe, and thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have an amazing day.